Have you ever wondered how tech giants manage their colossal data centers and applications seamlessly? Well, it's not magic, it's Kubernetes. Kubernetes, also known as K8s, is a powerful system designed to manage containerized applications across multiple hosts. It was created to solve the complex problems of deployment, scaling, and management of applications. It's like the conductor of a grand symphony, coordinating each section to create a harmonious performance. So today we delve into the world of Kubernetes, the orchestration engine that powers many of the services we use every day. In the beginning there was Google, and Google was with Borg. Google, a tech titan known for its innovative prowess, had a unique challenge on its hands. They were tasked with managing and coordinating the vast number of applications running across their global infrastructure. To tackle this, Google created Borg, a large-scale internal cluster management system. But Borg was not without its flaws. It was complex and required a steep learning curve. Furthermore, it was not designed to handle the dynamic, rapidly evolving landscape of modern web services. A new solution was needed, one that could manage and orchestrate containers at scale, while also being user-friendly and adaptable. Inspired by the design of Borg, Google engineers went to work, creating a system that could meet these demands. Their solution was a platform that could not only manage but also simplify the deployment, scaling, and management of applications across clusters of hosts. This platform was Kubernetes. Thus, Kubernetes was born, a system designed to solve the problems of the modern web at scale. Google, in an unexpected move, decided to open source Kubernetes. In the fast-paced world of tech, it's not often that we see a giant like Google simply give away its technology. But that's exactly what happened with Kubernetes. It was a surprising move that caught the industry off guard. But why did Google do this? Well, Google had an insight. They realized that Kubernetes was more than just a product. It was a framework for managing software at scale, a tool that could redefine how companies build and deploy their applications. And most importantly, it was a tool that could benefit from the collective wisdom and innovation of developers around the world. So, in a bold move, Google donated Kubernetes to the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, or CNCF. By doing this, Google transformed Kubernetes from a proprietary tech into an open-source project. This move put the power of Kubernetes into the hands of developers everywhere, allowing them to contribute to its development and evolution, and contribute they did. Developers flocked to Kubernetes, contributing code, offering feedback, and developing new features. This collective effort has resulted in a product that is continually evolving, continually improving, and continually pushing the boundaries of what's possible. This transition to open source has also had a profound impact on Kubernetes growth. It has propelled Kubernetes to the forefront of container orchestration, making it an industry standard. And so Kubernetes was no longer just a Google project but a tool for everyone. The years following Kubernetes' open source debut saw an explosion in its popularity. In the world of technology, a tool or platform's success hinges on its ability to solve a problem better than its predecessors or competitors. And Kubernetes did just that. It presented a solution to the container orchestration problem that was both robust and scalable. With features like automatic bin packing, self-healing, horizontal scaling, and service discovery, Kubernetes offered a comprehensive, all-in-one solution for managing containers at scale. But features alone did not account for the meteoric rise of Kubernetes. You see, a tool is only as good as the community that uses and supports it. And the Kubernetes community is vibrant, diverse, and active. From software developers to DevOps engineers, from small startups to tech giants, the community has been instrumental in propelling Kubernetes growth. This active community not only uses Kubernetes but also contributes to its development, ensuring that it remains at the cutting edge of technology. Speaking of tech giants, the rise of Kubernetes would not have been possible without the backing of major technology companies. Google, the original creator of Kubernetes, has continued to support its development. Other tech leaders like Microsoft, IBM, and Amazon also threw their weight behind Kubernetes, offering managed Kubernetes services on their cloud platforms. This support from industry leaders provided a level of credibility and reassurance that helped propel Kubernetes to the forefront of container orchestration. As the years rolled on, the tech industry started to rally around Kubernetes. More and more companies began adopting it for their container orchestration needs, and it started to appear in job descriptions, conference talks, and tech blogs. Kubernetes was no longer just a tool. It was a movement, a revolution in the way we manage and deploy software. Kubernetes had become the de facto standard for container orchestration, a testament to its design and the community that supports it. Today, Kubernetes is more than just a tool, it's an ecosystem. Indeed, Kubernetes has blossomed into a vibrant, thriving community that extends far beyond the confines of its original design. It has become an indispensable part of the tech industry, transforming the way we approach software development and deployment. Kubernetes is currently at the helm of container orchestration, driving innovation across companies of all sizes. From startups to tech giants, organizations are leveraging Kubernetes to streamline their operations, create resilient systems, and accelerate their time to market. It's not just about managing containers anymore, it's about enabling businesses to grow, scale, and adapt in today's fast-paced digital world. The Kubernetes ecosystem is rich and diverse, teeming with a plethora of tools and services that complement its core functionality. From monitoring and logging solutions to continuous integration and deployment platforms, these auxiliary tools are the lifeblood of the Kubernetes landscape, fostering collaboration and promoting best practices. But as we revel in the present, we must also look ahead. The future of Kubernetes is as exciting as it is uncertain. Emerging trends like GitOps, service meshes, and the proliferation of edge computing are poised to redefine the Kubernetes experience. These advancements promise to enhance the robustness and flexibility of Kubernetes, but they also bring their own set of challenges. Security, for instance, is a perennial concern that will only intensify as Kubernetes continues to evolve and mature. Moreover, the rapid pace of innovation demands continuous learning and adaptation. For Kubernetes to thrive, its community must be willing to embrace change, experiment with new ideas, and learn from failures. This is the ethos that has propelled Kubernetes to its current stature, and it's the ethos that will guide its journey forward. As we look towards the future, one thing is certain: Kubernetes will continue to play a pivotal role in shaping the landscape of cloud computing. Whether you're a developer, a system administrator, or simply a tech enthusiast, the Kubernetes story is far from over. It's a story of innovation, collaboration, and relentless pursuit of excellence. And it's a story that we're all a part of.